All right. We do it live.
Are we live?
We're live again, back in action.
We're talking about Castle in the Sky, right?
No,
Oh,
too soon.
Totoro?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So there's a fat ass cat. Uh,
You've never seen Totoro, have you?
no, I watched it when I was like fucking high school, I think.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, but it's been forever. I remember it being boring. I remember like coming off the back of like, what was it? Fuck. Spirited Away,
Akira.
obviously, but it was like Spirited
Oh,
Away, Howl's Moving Castle, and like another one, like Mononoke. No,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Mononoke's
those three.
super action
So
packed. Yeah.
it was off the back of those three, and then I watched Totoro thinking, "Oh my god, it's gonna be the greatest shit I ever saw," and it was boring as fuck.
All right.
but that's not about
Well,
this one.
anyways,
We're actually
this is
talking about what is her
Nausicaa.
name? Francesca? Francesca?
Nausicaa.
Okay, Francesca in the Valley of the
Oh,
Winds.
this is actually uh what's it called? Based on a manga.
You know what's funny? I saw in the beginning it said based on a. At first, I read it completely wrong because I'm a fucking jackass and I don't actually read. I
You
just
probably read
see
it correctly.
I see what the word looks like. I'm like, oh, that's what that word was. So I saw something novel and said, oh, it's based off a light novel. Went and looked it up. I said that's a manga, not a fucking light novel. And then I go
Yeah, it's
back
based
and
on
rewind. It said graphics, or was it called series graphical?
graphic novel.
Yeah, serial graphic novel. I said, oh shit, I can't fucking read. I just saw novel and skipped
It's a
it.
novel.
Because normally half the shit in fucking manga media or anime media rather is based off light novels.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, it must have been light novel without even fucking reading. Um,
Yeah, but
but
I think the manga is actually written and drawn by Miyazaki, so
right, that's what I looked at. It said It said screenplay and story by him, based on something else. I said, hold on. Let me go check this.
yeah, no, no, screenplay. You can have a screenplay written by someone else that's based on a manga because like it shortens it.
No, and
There's a
I know
lot more
that.
lore in the manga because the manga's 7 volumes.
Right, no, I'm definitely like, I get it, but I also think sometimes you can use that to be super disingenuous.
Right.
Like screenplay and so written by James Gunn, and it's like, no, this entire fucking story was written by Jeff Johns, years ago,
Right.
or whatever it might be. But anyway, see, I did check that and was like, oh, cool. Um, but shit, we take it from the top, best way. I'm out of practice, so we'll fucking dive back in. Easiest way I know how. The intro was fucking great, and it's weird because it wasn't anything spectacular. It was just sad cities and scenes and like bones and shit. But the way the music was super somber, and I was like, man, this is good shit. I'm already involved. Um, but to completely break taking it from the top, this entire movie's fucking awesome. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just fucking awesome, dude. And I swear to God, we talked about this with Lupin. I think I'm not sure. It's been a couple months, but it's subtle but action packed.
Oh wait, one question: did you watch it in English dub or did you watch it in Japanese?
English. I like my Ghiblis in English.
Okay.
The voice acting is always really good, so I'm always like cool with
Early
it.
Ghibli is the voice cast is done by Disney, so it
Ah,
is stacked. I don't know if you saw the names on there.
I didn't.
Um,
I didn't look at the names, but I can
well,
imagine.
Shia LaBeouf played Asbel, the
Oh,
kid that she
cool.
meets from Pidgeot. Yupa was Patrick Stewart,
What?
Professor
No
X.
way.
Yeah.
Cool.
uh,
It makes sense
so
though, because I know Meg from Hercules was the bad bitch from Spirited Away.
yeah,
I was like, it's her. She's like my favorite personality in all of like voice acting. She always plays the same character, and I love it.
which character?
The one that was teaching
Meg.
Sen how to work.
Yeah, no, it was the actress.
Oh, I don't know her name.
Oh, okay.
Whoever voice acted Meg from Hercules, and then her from that movie. But in all the
Okay.
media I've seen her in, she just plays like
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
bad
yeah.
bitch standard.
Mark Hamill's in this. I saw his name in the credits, but I didn't know who he was in it. So
Right. This is back in the glory days, dude. English dubs used to be the fucking cream of the crop. 90s. Well, this is late 80s, wasn't it?
this was well, the English dub of this was in the 90s or 2000s,
Right. So
but the
checks out.
yeah, yeah, but the yeah, but, oh no, it says U.S. release date 85.
Hmm. Well, there we go.
Okay,
Unless it was
whatever.
the U.S. release date of the Japanese import.
Right, not sure, but yeah.
Right. Not really
Edward James
important.
Olmos is in this. So
Who is it?
it's Edward James Olmos.
I don't
It's
know him.
he's a Mexican dude that if you saw him, you'd think he's white, which is fair because he plays like a Mexican American Mexican dude whose dad was a white guy. Um,
Ah, he's one
in
of those
a in
indoor
a
Mexicans.
yeah, like me.
That
But
shit's
yeah.
still funny. He said, "I don't do yard work. I'm an indoor Mexican."
Anyways, moving on. English dub it was good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I but I'm
the opening was beautiful. Uh,
right. Well, all throughout, man, I noticed there's a trend. I followed the trend, and a lot of them are repeats from like either different parts of the same movie or different parts from other movies. Of the soundtrack is the biggest thing I'm probably going to be touching on in every single one of these movies because I swear to God, it's a video game soundtrack.
oh yeah,
It's super atmospheric and sometimes doesn't necessarily even like make sense, air quotes. Like it's almost fantastical in a way, but that's kind of the whole point. But every time it goes, I'm just like, man, this is super immersive. This is great because the music just always sets the tone. And I feel like if I think about modern regular American movies, which we've touched on this in our last video actually, the difference in like American media, but it's always funny to contrast the background music in like American films outside of maybe like The Hobbit and certain ones that are made for like big orchestral shit.
yeah,
It's not as whimsical. It's not as immersive. It's always very serious. Even Star Wars, right? That's a pretty fantastical type of
yeah.
series. Most of their background music is notable for like the serious bits. It's like the fucking March of the Empire and different shit like that. There were some good ones. I think I like the flute solos.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. The Ewoks had some good flute solos. I think there was some pretty exciting moments there. But a lot of the other background music doesn't necessarily put me into the world. And I don't think it's supposed to, right? Like I'm not saying this is a bad thing about what they do. But I imagine like when Luke was in Hoth and he was like in that crystal cavern or not crystal ice.
Mhm.
But that goes to show how my mind goes in that direction of like a crystal cavern and fucking whimsical like chimes. That's
Mhm.
always like that ice sounding, crystal sounding thing is a chime. And it's like imagine if he was hanging upside down and that kind of music was playing. It would add so much more like mystery and excitement to that shitty ass cave he was in.
Right.
That's not the point. They didn't do that for a reason. But it's interesting to think about how when I hear it, I'm like, wow, I like this a lot. And it's like, when's the last time you heard that? Well, I don't know. And only in sort of, animated media do they get away with it. But I wonder if there's more because I haven't seen a lot of like whimsical shit. Like I still wanted to watch Pan's Labyrinth. I heard that was really good. Um, and I imagine that sort of setting and environment based on the trailer is gonna
Yeah.
have access to some whimsical style music, some immersive style video game esque tracks.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, short story long, that was like the background music. I think is super awesome and super important for how it engages you with the media. Um, but also, I don't know, dude. This movie is so I don't know under the top instead of over the top. I guess I don't use that term, but like under the top because every time something happens, it's exciting, but
Yeah.
it's not too much. I never felt oversaturated by the drama or the intenseness of what's happening, but it was still engaging. I was still like, oh shit. Like for example, I think I have it in here somewhere. I can't remember exactly what she said, but let me see. Let's see. Um, blah 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 blah. I swear to God, it's right here. I must have went straight past it. Oh yeah, it's whenever the something was happening, the airship was coming.
Yeah.
She just looks and says, "What can that be?" And then the fucking airship comes in and blows the whole town up, damn near.
Yeah.
But the way that all the voice lines are delivered and the way that the animation is, it's very smooth, very soft. Even when the action happens, it cranks up a little bit, but it's never so over the top. And it's not like
Hmm.
I'm getting fucking anxiety or something crazy while watching the movies, but or not these ones, but like action movies and things like that, more standard media. But I
Yeah.
did notice the stark contrast of when things hit the fan and like modern day, whatever it might be, fucking action film, Marvel film, suspense kind of thing. It's always like over the top because they've almost like extracted all of the bits that work and then
Yeah.
fucking concentrated them. Whereas this one was super engaging and enjoyable because it was just intense, but it was never like, oh my god, music's bumping, dun 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 dun, and like shit's just going, people are screaming. Like even when they screamed, I don't know if it's the volume either, like the individual volume settings for like dialogue versus background noise and background music and everything else. But even when the people were screaming, it still felt contained in a way, almost peaceful. This is really weird and kind of artsy fartsy, and I don't normally like to do that kind of shit. But there's definitely something about like how calm the whole movie is while during the action scenes and everything. I don't know. What do you think?
I didn't really pay attention to the music. I noticed some of it, but oh, this is kind of off. But most of the time it felt appropriate. So, um, but
Right,
there were
right.
some portions where I was like, this seems a little off. But other than that, no, it seemed fine. Um, it did get loud at one point to me, and I was like, but not too much. Um,
Right.
I don't know.
And what about, I guess more so I'm thinking like what about this stupid ethereal thing I'm talking about? About like how the movie's tone always seems like softer or stable even when it gets action or whatever. Like the lows and highs don't seem to be as low and high. The peak and trough seem to be pretty close together. What is that? Amplitude seems to be pretty low.
Amplitude.
Yeah, because like we got wavelength, amplitude, and then the other. Or am I crazy here?
I'm not. Yeah, I didn't pay much attention to the music, so
Well, it's not to do
uh,
with the music. It's to do with everything. Like the
we
voice
talking.
acting, the everything. Like the even when the drama happens, it's not like, oh my god, edge of my seat,
Oh, you're
explosions,
about like
loud
fucking
shit.
super dramatic. Yeah, nah.
Yeah, like it's almost
Um,
like the entire movie is calm in a way,
yeah,
and it's almost standard for Ghibli movies. I think the most action packed you would call it would be Spirited Away, which
yeah.
is
Well, yeah.
why I
So the
think
action,
it's.
when the
But
action it kicks in, but then like yeah, people calm the fuck down after a second, and it's not just hyper intense the entire time.
right, for example, when the fire was burning the forest down, right?
Yeah,
They were like, "We need to get out here! Hurry, hurry! Get the what? Get the axes, get the things, get the fire extinguisher or the fire, not the extinguishers,
yeah.
but
They were burning the poison. It wasn't.
right."
Yeah, yeah.
So when they went to and they start chopping the roots and everything, that was an extremely tense scene. But if you listen to the way the voice acting was, it never made me feel like, "Holy shit, everything's going fucking crazy!" Like I could still appreciate the setting and the movie and everything, sort of like less intensely than I would like a modern day film. I feel like because I was just like, "Oh shit, everything's burning down. What are they gonna do?" I didn't feel this extra urgency, even though their fucking forest is burning down and it's clearly urgent based on the characters' movements and everything else. It just didn't seem as, what do you call it, heightened. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know
I
what.
get you.
How do they do that?
I don't know.
That's a good
I didn't.
question.
I didn't poke that out, so I didn't really. Think about that.
Because I'm like, because in any modern movie, right? Let's say there's a fire in a building, right? There's a fire in a building in a modern day American movie, and somebody's trapped. We gotta get that fucker out now! And the shit's fucking music's going, they're jumping and kicking the fucking window down, and bricks are breaking. Oh my god, get out of here! Coughing and shit. Like,
It's the sound design. It's all that just in one. It's like the background music kicks up in an American music or American movie or show, and then all the noises are fucking louder. Like when they kick a door down or do anything, just check. Moving equipment gets loud. Clothing fucking rustling, stuff rustling, all that stuff, all that
right,
sound design is just heightened. It's more, it's just louder. So yeah, it creates that sense in your heart and mind.
right.
Um,
And I'm not gonna say one is better or worse, right? Because obviously, if you want that heightened sense of emotion, you want the action, you want that shit,
it's
sure.
it's whatever you want for the movie because like this movie's about most Ghibli movies are.
True.
Technically, this is not a Ghibli movie, but it is.
Well, it had the Ghibli
Um,
logo. He was working for them when he made it, right? Well, it's his
I'm not
manga.
sure. I think they got it after he made Studio Ghibli.
Mm.
So it's like it's not technically. It's like Kingdom Hearts. It's a Square Enix game, but it wasn't made by Square Enix. It was made by SquareSoft.
Oh, I see. I
Uh,
see.
yeah. So like they like acquired the rights whenever like I don't know the exact background behind it, but I'm pretty sure that Miyazaki was not he had not made Studio Ghibli yet. Um,
Right.
so
But whatever they do, though, I love it, man. And it's such a change. I think it's a breath of fresh air, and I think maybe I'm gonna be tired of it by the end of this series.
Yeah,
We'll see, because obviously, everything's nice in short doses. So after we finish this entire thing, we'll see how I feel. But we talked about it before, and because the last one was Lupin, it wasn't necessarily his works, so he
yeah.
couldn't do a lot. This is definitely
It's his
on point.
manga. It's his screenplay. It's his story. He's directing it. So
Yeah, it's
it's
everything. It
his
has his
baby.
whole fucking name on it, and it's funny how he keeps getting away with it. He keeps giving us the same fucking story over and over, and I love it every time. Because industry is bad, people are bad, nature good, be one with nature, strong female lead.
Right. You could always
Every time, dude. And I love it. I just because all of the details are so much different and the world is so interesting and unique that like you can't really compare the two. Even the most direct comparison would be I think this and Princess Mononoke. That's like almost carbon 1-to-1 comparisons. You could argue that anyway. I don't think it's that close. But
yeah.
even the closest one I can think of is still different enough to
Right.
make both of them notable and interesting stories on their own, even while having a lot of the same, overarching messages or character tropes or whatever you want to call it. I just think that's funny how the same person can do that in their own works, but Hollywood and big business and media and writers nowadays can't do that in completely different works.
Right.
Something new comes out. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you go. You
But
go.
yeah, something new comes out, and it's like the fucking same shit. It's like, dude, this is just a fucking carbon copy of this. This is just a carbon copy of that. This
Does
is
this
just
have any heart
uninspired
in it?
trash. So how can a dude make damn near the same story by the same guy so you know it has the same influences and it be so different it's still just as enjoyable and you have completely different writers with completely different ideas and they can't make something similar but unique. It's just interesting.
Because they're not speaking from the heart, Trey. They're just checking off a checklist. Miyazaki goes all the way into his work. He
Dude, he's got
establishes
passion.
he's got passion. He's got he it's the little things about that he does with each character, that like makes them real in a sense in your mind.
Right.
So they don't seem like Mononoke, Nausicaa, and the girl from Spirited Away are not the same person,
Very
but
different.
yeah, the similar story for both the characters.
No, it's true. And I think that's it. It's it's the interactions, like and who they are and then the setting they're in. Because this
Yeah,
whole plant forest thing with the bugs and everything, it's an interesting take on it, right? Because I even at one point that little nasty red one she saved after the plane crash,
yeah,
I was like, ew, kill
the
it.
little nasty red one. He's
Yeah,
adorable. You
I
should
was
see
like,
him.
dude, I did. I said we gotta kill that fucker now. I said get that
He was a
nasty.
little Pookie.
Listen, you're right. And it's funny because after she said no, we can take him home or whatever she said, I was like, oh my god, bugs are people too. Just fucking hilarious. But it worked. Like, I don't know, the cheesy ass message and everything works. But yeah, her reactions and her things, she's definitely super strong willed and strong spirited in like how she approaches her problems and her life and everything. But she's also tender and nice and shit. The fucking chick from Princess Mon done. It's over. She'd fucking kill everybody. Like, she'd burn
Right.
all
She had a
fuckers.
little head in her too when she saw her dad on the floor.
That's different spoilers. But
I said, "Oh God, that's not what I expected from you. Holy shit, calm
right?
down."
And that's what I mean, right? He can put you in a very similar state of thinking, a similar message, and it's just the context is so different and unique because you don't even know what's gonna happen. Also, this movie is fucking 2 hours long.
Yeah,
I was halfway through and I said, "Holy shit, they're not gonna resurrect the Big Red, are they? They don't have enough time." Fucker just kept going and going, but I'm cool with it. Speaking of, I've had that on my notes. I was gonna ask about that since we're here. Um, would you be cool if they never resurrected the Big Red at all?
the big red.
The ancient warrior dude? The slime monster?
Oh, the fucking giant monk.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I was totally cool with that. Halfway through, I said, you know what? I hope he doesn't even get introduced to the story because it's
I
going to
just,
be too much fluff.
I wanted it as a lore person but for the story, I think it would have been too much. But like for lore, because I like the lore and I like learning about the ancient past and their king, many different. That's why I'm about to go read this manga because I want to read more of the lore and shit.
Right. I was thinking
Um,
like, are they? Because they're not human. He shot lasers, right? Or not human, but not
yeah,
like they're not organic.
they're weapons. I think I'm
Right.
not sure.
It seemed
Yeah,
like they're bioweapons because the fucker shot lasers out of his mouth. That's not normal.
yeah.
There's
I said,
definitely
look
yeah.
at him,
There's
he's falling apart. And literally right after, he's falling apart. I knew it. He's not
Dude,
ready. Put him back in the oven.
that fucking animation was cool though. He's like walking, his
Right,
fucking ribs tore out, or his torso tore off his fucking ribs. I said,
right.
holy shit. Um,
Uh,
but anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
well, yeah, he
So
could have cut him out, but you can't have an animated movie without some kind of allegory to the nuclear, like, the bombs, the Hiroshima, the Nagasaki.
oh, you think
Uh,
that's what it was?
well, I mean, that's most anime that
Oh,
creates like a super weapon. It's always a,
scorched earth kind of thing. I guess that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, no, that makes a lot more sense. And
I
that was
mean,
kind of the
Akira is
whole.
more direct parallel to that because they actually had a World War III and they mentioned a giant nuclear explosion that leveled the city and
Right,
or
right.
leveled Tokyo and they became New Tokyo, whatever the fuck. But
Now that
uh,
makes sense, and it's interesting too to think like culturally and
yeah,
historically or whatever. How did that affect their people? You know?
it reverberated into their media. I mean, it's all over their media if you actually think about it. I mean,
Right,
the two most popular, right, like Naruto and I was about to say Sasuke on uh, One Piece, Naruto and One Piece, like that what's it called? They mentioned they haven't talked about the ancient weapons as much, but yeah, but
right.
they're there and they
World-ending bullshit, right?
yeah,
And it's
and
always
then
the idea of like, yeah, we have it, but what does it really accomplish? Is it good? You know?
right.
And it's interesting to think, yeah, like because think about it, that's their entire world. Like, yeah, they knew there was, China and other
Oh,
places in the world.
yeah, I remember what I was talking about. This world is the aftermath, right, of a
Right,
giant war or something, almost the world-ending event that poisoned the Earth and shit
right.
like that. So there you go.
It's
They
true,
had to
but
live. Yeah,
it's fucked up. Think about like in America, right? Imagine the entirety of America was blown to fucking bill. Not the entirety, because it wasn't all of Japan, but fuck enough of it
right,
was just blown to fucking bits, and you saw like your cousins and uncles and shit evaporated in front of you. Well, you would have died too, but you
right.
get the idea. That's fucking world changing, world ending like fear.
I mean,
That
it affected the entire country because after Nagasaki, after Hiroshima, there was a lot of older people that
mhm,
went in. They knew that shit was gonna be toxic to the youth, so they told the youth not to go in. But
right,
like the generations went in and they cleaned up, and they got a lot of radiation poisoning or whatever the fuck it was,
right,
like
right,
the fallout. And so they had to live with that shit that fucked up their bodies, and their family had to understand how that came about. So they understood that that's the aftermath of uh nuclear nuclear bombs. It doesn't just affect the people that got hit by the bomb; it affects everyone because of the fallout.
right.
Um, so
Dude, I'm telling
that
you,
was a lot of inspiration for these things,
these fuckers
and
got passion over there. Outside of that fucking terrible tragic event, there is some
yeah,
passion, and this is why I
oh
love
yeah,
Japanese media, because it's
yeah,
not just. I mean, this is a huge, great low hanging fruit example, but so much of what they do in their media is like just fucking passionate, man.
right,
And it's funny, it feels so bad because obviously with Western culture changing and things are a bit different now. It's different, but when we were growing up, if you didn't watch action movies and MTV and you were reading manga, watching anime, you were a fucking loser weirdo. And I'm like, there's no way you could describe to people the
hmm
passion, like the true fucking like storytelling that's in there. But you can't really, you couldn't tell people that nowadays. It's kind of cool that it's being more widely accepted. Only the problem is now there's a bunch of like weird ass weebs out there who take it too far, and I'm like, God, don't do that.
you make us look bad.
Right? Like we waited 20 years for this shit. And now you're fucking making us look bad. Don't do it. But I try to give them credit because if they're, you're young, you don't know how to handle the unadulterated passion that comes from this fucking media. It just fucking
Right.
it'll put you in tears and you won't even know why. Like so, but it is funny. Just all that shit in general. But yeah, so we were talking about the big red. I think it was cool that he got a little moment, but he didn't matter. Like he showed up, he's already fallen apart. The second he shows up, it's like cool. He's in and out. because that wasn't the part of the story that was important. And I
Yeah.
think even though they showed it, they did a really good job of keeping it to a minimum, which I really enjoyed. Because I was like, yeah, if he never shows up, I'm gonna be cool. Like I'd like that entirely because he's not the point. It's honestly, if he didn't show up, the whole point is don't rely on crazy ass fucking burn the world down techniques anyway. But I think that's cool because they gave it a good message. Like he showed up, fucking didn't work, and it was like, yeah, we can't rely on that shit anyway. So it kind of did
Yeah.
its purpose, even though it showed up. I guess because I was concerned that they were going to spend too much time, which is weird because this isn't like a modern day movie. It's the good shit. I don't have to be worried when I see things. Oh, they're gonna fuck this up. No, this is the good shit for a reason. This fucker is a legend for for that same reason. But let's see. So we covered that. Where are we at before that? Characters. Oh yeah, just the entire tone and setting of the movie.
Yeah.
How just interesting but not over the top it was. Let's see. Um, oh, one thing at the beginning that's really funny. I noticed this. I think it was in Age of Empires too. I'm too stupid to read and understand like tapestry and like ancient pictures of history.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning they were showing like the story. They were showing the people and like the tapestry and all the different things and like all the ancient
Yeah.
drawings. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, so there's a kid laying down. There's is that like a sun? It was over. I said, fuck it. They'll tell me later. I could not, dude. And then I
I
thought
didn't even
about like
notice that the I didn't even notice that the opening credits was like tapestry stuff. I was just like, oh look, Mayan art. I like it.
and
To
then
be
they
fair.
that's funny. Yeah, they showed it again and I was like, oh no,
Oh,
here we
Incan.
go.
I said it kind of looks like Incan art. Yeah.
Right? It was cool. But yeah, the same thing they showed like the prince it was like and then Prince so and so went to attack England from whatever in Normandy and all this shit and I was like, I have no idea what that fucking picture means. It's a bunch of dudes sitting there. So I wonder it's like why do I have an inability to read that? Or it's like I don't know what to look for. That's the question. Like I see things, but they'll say like they'll have like four stick figures around like a circle. And they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, and this was the ancient description of the festival that did this and it meant that." I'm like, "Where the fuck did you get that from?" It's four stick figures around a circle. Like some of them are obvious. There's like a sun, but I'm like that could be they could be sunbathing, they could be tanning. You don't know that they're worshiping their sun god and killing people for that.
They could be tanning.
Some of that shit, I
Okay.
swear to God, is speculation. At least the more ancient stuff could be speculation, because the newer stuff we at least have like letters and things to corroborate
Yeah.
it. More written history. But I did think that was funny though. I was like, yeah, I can't read this shit. Let's just wait. Next big thing that we have to cover through the entirety of the movie that took me about 70, like an hour and a half, 71%.
Yeah.
An hour and a half into the movie, I finally noticed that there was a very subtle difference in the yellow on her legs and the yellow on her face.
Dude. Oh my god. I literally said the same thing. I said ass shot. Jesus, Ghibli. I know you're like you're not like this later, but Jesus, you were that desperate for money back then?
Right. That's what I said. And it happened again and again. And first I was like, oh, geez, it was the first panty shot in the opening scene. I said, okay.
Yeah.
I said, little panty shot, you don't need that, but whatever, get the fans hooked. And then there was full-on cheeks hanging out. I said,
By the time she was flying on her glider, I said, "Oh, those are pants." I said, "Okay."
dude, I was almost at the end of the movie. I said, I need to pause this. I said, because I can't. I said, let me. I said, please show me that there's a different shade of color. And there was, but not in every scene. Because in some of these
Yeah.
shots, I think even the background we have running right now, the face and legs are the same color. So there are definitely some shots where the colors were definitely very close. I wouldn't say they're indistinguishable because I don't think they would go that far. But there's definitely shots where they were very close. But there was a couple that were blatantly, those are yellow, her face is more of a white. And I was like, okay, cool. We're good to go. Because I was like, the whole movie, I said, good
Are you trying to
God.
say that he drew her yellow because they're Asian, Trey?
Yes.
This guy.
We have to, that's it goes back to like the funniest thing too. When people start bitching about like race of anime characters. I said that motherfucker is white as paper. Not even white people look like that. And they said, no, they're clearly Japanese. I said, tell me how. Because those fuckers are tan.
They're pretty tan.
Right. I'm like, it's just funny to see how people get so pissy about media and just, I don't know, man. Just, This is why we do this podcast. Because if any of you listen out there, don't be a hateful fucker and just fight for nothing. Because some of you don't even have like logical arguments. You bitch about the wildest shit just to bitch. Like, just be happy and enjoy the media.
Oh man.
Let's see. More of the good shit. The first intro scene with the little flowers and stuff in like the forest.
Yeah.
It was cool because at one point it looked almost underwater, and I was like, whoa. It just added to more of like the cool
The weird
stuff.
fungal spores like reminded me of a snow. So she was like covered in snow when she was
Right. And it's just beautiful, man. Like, and they're not even doing anything crazy, but they let it sit.
right.
I don't know how often movies nowadays don't let anything sit.
All the time. They never let anything fucking sit.
And
They either
I'm
have to make a joke or they have to move on. They don't want to cut. They don't want to fucking spend any time basking in the scenes.
right. It's crazy because it's funny because I learned this though when I was taking video production classes. And they literally taught me that. They're like no longer than this many seconds per shot, and you have to make sure such and such moves in a certain direction.
Right.
And then, you think about that and it's like you don't know. So you're just learning the techniques of the trade. And to be fair, those are probably, standard for American media that was really selling well, which is usually I'd say action and horror. Maybe
Mhm.
comedies like in there somewhere, but I don't see many, comedy movies blowing out certain things like action and horror in like our
Right.
history.
I don't like new horror movies because a lot of them don't fucking sit in the tension. They don't like. They just want to blow their load all the time and just give you jump scare, jump scare, jump scare.
Right?
Um, I like movies that just give you that tension, like they're about to give you a jump scare, and then they don't give you a jump scare because then you're just pissed and you have
Dude,
this all this angst inside. And
don't
then when they
even.
finally give you the jump scare, that's the good shit.
I hate those fuckers because I'm sitting there and then you're the. And I'm like, oh, dude, please. And then they fucking turn the corner. There's nothing there. I said, you motherfucker.
Oh,
I hate it. But you're right, though. It works. It's good. Yeah, let people enjoy and bask in everything. And you know what that does for horror movies that never gets talked about as a short story, side story? Is the fact that lets the fucking viewer know not everything is out to get you. And it adds immersion for me anyway, as a spectator.
yeah,
It adds immersion to the fucking film because because there's times I'm like hate horror movies because it's just a fucking haunted house. Like literally, the movie is set up to be a haunted house. Every corner, every turn, everything is just
right.
fucking spooky on purpose. Which, to be
People
fair, it only
love
works in
haunted
certain
houses.
situations. Because I was gonna say like 13 Ghosts is really good, but the whole fucking point was they created a haunted house.
Right.
But in most places, it's like, oh, this mansion is haunted or whatever. It's like, okay, but not the whole mansion. The garden may not be haunted. The fucking stairs may not be haunted. The ghost may only come out once a week. It's not just nonstop horror all the time. Allow the movie to sit and be regular for a little bit to help my immersion with real life. Because if it's just a fucking haunted house scare, jump scare, roller coaster, then go to a fucking haunted house. It's a movie. You know what's funny? I just hit me like a ton of bricks almost. That film and gaming are taking the same path on forgetting what their source media was by getting so caught up in either technology or whatever it may be. It's a slightly different thing, but games are so caught up with graphics, and they have been for the past since fucking PS2. graphics. They forget sometimes that their gaming is the media, not movies.
Right.
And then it suffers because of it. And I think that horror and film and action films, especially, though I hate those. I hate making fun of those too. But those horror and action get the worst of it. Comedy as well. Sometimes those movies need a little bit more substance. So essentially, the big trio of American film, those three need more substance. It's like they forget they're telling stories. These aren't stand-up comedy routines. These aren't haunted houses. These aren't, how would you equate action film to a regular life thing? But whatever, a roller coaster, whatever you might call it. These aren't those. These are films that are telling stories and just happen to fall in a genre which they don't have to fall into, but usually you can classify them as something. But that just took over. Like this, it's weird. I mean, I guess it's not weird. It makes sense if you're trying to get the most, bang for your buck. You're trying to get the most, juiciest, well extracted thing. But it's almost
Right.
like I compare it to orange juice, right? If you have that natural orange juice from like an orange, and then you taste that fucking hyper concentrate, super duper like orange oil that they fucking extract from this shit. One of those, sure, it's bursting with fucking sugar and everything and uber duper orange flavor. The other one you could probably argue is watered down in a way, but there's something nice about it because it's refreshing and light in a way. So I don't know. I don't know if one's correct or the other, but definitely I've found myself in the last few videos and few doing old shit, especially when we cover old film. I do find myself leaning towards the side of I like less concentrated media, you know? But I'm not sure because I was in tears in My Hero Academia one time. And that shit is concentrated as fuck. So I don't know. I don't think either one is right, I guess, or wrong. You know, there's no correct way to do it. And maybe it's part of that burnout I talked about. You know, when everything is so concentrated all the time, it becomes a little burnt out. Because sometimes you do like, you know, ice cream or fudge, right? Or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
Sometimes having these super, super enriched sweets are good. But when you have that shit all the time, it's like stomach hurts and it's gross and it's like, too much. Let me go back to something light.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what I'm feeling here is sort of a nostalgia for light things. Which is great. I'm glad we're doing this series because fuck, man. This shit is a breath of fresh air. Anyway,
you want to talk about the movie from the start, or you want to?
Well, we covered most of the beginning. Then we covered, you know, the scene in the forest when it sits. That was our last stop. So moving on, I guess when she saw the monster, or the Umi, or
the Ohm.
That shit. She says, "I got a comet," and blows that motherfucker up. I said, "That's not how you calm something down."
Right. I was like, "What the fuck is good?"
That shit was.
What they call it? A bug charmer?
Something like the flash. She had the flash pods and the bug
flash
whistle.
Grenades. Yeah, those other ones were flash grenades, but she had a
bug whistle. Something bug charmer, maybe. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. They made like a mating call or something.
Yeah.
Or some kind of call.
Ew,
but that shit was
trying
funny.
To fuck her? I knew they were doing the tentacles for a reason.
Bro. That shit was so funny though. As soon as I saw those, I said, "Oh, here we go. Fucking fancy bug magic. It's gonna heal her." And it didn't do it. I said, "Wait. Where's the fancy bug magic that's supposed to heal her?" And then it came at the end. I said, "Okay."
There's the fancy bug magic.
I said, "Well, quota has been filled." That shit is kind of funny. I don't know if I want to take points off for that, but it is funny, the old style of like, or not even old style. They still do it in this day and age. All anime and shit, like
everything. Yeah,
you gotta have.
Good in the end.
There's some magic at the end that saves somebody.
I thought, here comes the ash tears.
Right, dude. You know what's fucking hilarious? The first thing I thought of was that movie. Like, no joke. Seconds ago, that was what crossed my mind.
That's our generation's first like big anime movie.
It's true. So, that was the first time I'd ever cried like that as a boy.
I watched the movie 3 times. I think my mom said we went 6 times. I don't know exactly, but I fucking cried.
Minimum 3.
I cried every time. We went left. The last time I said, "You know he comes back. Stop crying."
Still, dude, I'll cry if I watch this shit right now. Stop playing. It's too much, man. It's just concentrated, like whatever the fuck it is, dude. Whatever they put in that, dude. You know what? I think it's because it's animals.
It's the Pikachu voice. It's the Pikachu line when Pikachu's crying and he's fucking electrocuting it.
True. Because I think that's what it is. And there's something. Then filmmakers do this. There's something pure about animals and things like that. And I guess in this movie, the bugs and then Pokemon, I would consider them animals-ish. They have a lot more feelings than normal animals, but there's something about them. We just assume they can do no wrong, I think.
Yeah.
Psychologically, I think there's this weird innate thing of like, animals are perfect beings, so if they do something for us, we don't deserve it. And that's why that shit hits so much harder. Because little adorable Pikachu is just like, he's willing to do anything to stop all this corruption and shit, and he's just an innocent little baby who doesn't even need to be a part of it. Like, oh my god. We're not going to do those. That's a series we're leaving, because I can't cry every day. But it's the same thing with these bugs, right? It was like, once you see... Well, not the non-angry bugs. Once you start to see certain shit like that, it's like, and then the baby bug, dog. That poor fucker was bleeding. I said, not the baby bug. Oh my god. But it is though, man. This shit, it just works, man. As far as like the drama, the emotion, the whatever, because it's believable. I think a lot of
Hmm.
human emotion can be difficult to convey on screen because we don't necessarily believe it, right? Or at least we're not exposed to it.
Yeah.
And it sounds weird, but like if I imagine like some gruff ass action hero manly man was crying at the end of a movie or doing something, it wouldn't be as emotional because that's
I
expected in
think a
our
good
culture.
actor would convey it well.
They could, but I wonder even if they conveyed it well, would it matter? Because like for example, in our media, in our culture, men are expected to sacrifice. They're expected to do certain things. They're expected to either not feel or whatever. And when they do, it's sort of masked with a bit of gruffness. Or if they, go too far emotionally, they're bitches. I wonder if there's something about, our emotional spectrum that's become
Hmm.
so stereotyped that sometimes it's difficult to convey. Like women, for example, are expected to be more emotional. So if they're crying in a shot or showing emotion, it's almost expected, so it hits a little bit less hard. I can't prove that. I'm wondering. This is kind of an open air question.
Feel like that's a you thing. I feel like I can't think of it at the top of my head, so I can't definitively like
Right, right. And I
disprove
can't think of
that.
either one. I can't think of a direct example, but I think culturally that would make sense to me. But I would have to watch a film and then notice that or not notice it. You know what I mean?
The only thing I can think of is Anakin crying about the sand people, killing the sand people,
Right.
and I'm like, that worked. Um,
He did do pretty good there, but it didn't make me cry, is what I mean. Like,
uh,
so it's good,
I
but
was
it's
in
not
sixth
as
grade when
good
that happened.
as,
That shit didn't make me cry.
huh?
Uh, I said I was in sixth grade when I watched that, and at that point, I'm trying to be a man. I'm not crying at movie theaters. Uh,
Right. Because I wonder, because like as an adult, right? It's very rare that I see like a regular filmed movie, um, that'll bring me to tears. But I notice the ones that'll do it in a heartbeat have two things: animals or children. And I wonder if because anime is mostly children, and whenever
yeah,
they have like emotional breakdowns, for some reason it hits twice as hard. And I wonder if that's because there's something innate about their purity or whatever. I don't know what you would call it. They're good people, right? You would just assume a child's a good person by nature, especially if the story is made them out to be.
nah, there's some evil children.
No, definitely. um, but I wonder, right, if that's why certain things hit more. Because like I believe every word she said in this movie, for example, when
Yeah,
she's just like, just you have to stop, and it was like, I truly believed that. Like she beat the fuck out of those dudes. I think she killed them. She was like, I couldn't believe it.
she killed a few of them.
Yeah, she
She
literally,
broke one of the dude's sword. What? Would she have a fucking stick? What was
dude.
that?
Listen, she ripped. I had a note on here. She ripped the pipe off that console when she
Yeah,
jumped. I said, "Good God, woman's fucking strong as fuck." but yeah, so she beat the hell out of
she's
those
got
dudes.
magic bug powers. I don't
She's
know.
got something. She had some essence of magic powers in the beginning, right? How she could talk to animals or make people believe things.
Yeah,
They hinted at that, but they never showed it, which I think is a good thing for movies to do. Is show something that's unbelievable, but don't show too much that you know it's in the realm of impossibility, and don't tell me it's superpowers, because then I can believe that it's real and that I could do that as a viewer. And I think that's super important for this kind of movie, for the messages they're trying to send, is that like anybody can do it if they fucking believe. How many people you see on YouTube that are charismatic and get tens of millions of people to believe everything they say?
right.
So the idea that she's super charismatic and fucking strong-willed and people will believe her and she can make things happen is very real. It happens in our lifetime. Only half the time it happens for less than reputable shit. There's no fucking Johnny Appleseed isn't out here, spreading trees around the world
How
the same
dare
way
you?
that.
I believe in Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah, but Johnny Appleseed don't have as many viewers as fucking Andrew Tate.
True.
So there's something about I think the message and shit that's super enjoyable. But when you make it nonsensical, when she has like magic powers, then it kind of ruins the idea that I can do that too. And I think that's super important for films like this. Um, I'm trying to think of another one that comes to mind that ruined it. The Breaker, dude, I fucking love The Breaker because everything they did was a little bit nonsensical, but truly I felt like it was possible if you trained hard enough. Until they started like fucking jumping over buildings and punching through fucking brick walls and everything else, and I was like, oh man, you ruined it. Because that's kind of what's cool is like just pushing the bounds of human capabilities and having people believe that it's possible is part of like what makes a film so inspirational and helps you identify with the cast.
Hmm.
I feel like you see the old lady was Obaba, and what's her name
Hmm.
was Yubaba. I said,
Hmm.
all these babas are old ladies.
Well, Baba means old lady.
I thought so. I didn't. I
or
was gonna look
something
it
to
up, and I was like, I'm pretty
something to
sure.
that effect. Cause like, what's her name? The old lady from Dragon Ball. Her name is just is Witch Baba or something like that.
Right. I've
Oh.
seen it in a lot of media, and I was like, that has to be something. There has to be something there, right? Here,
Baba
I got
Yaga.
the dictionary. Let me look it up.
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. Yeah, it just means grandmother.
There you go.
Um, it also means shit
And
or
then
crap. It also means old woman. Um, it also means with or breath, but mostly it's
old lady.
yeah.
It's coming up on mine.
I have a
This is a very insulting and rude way to say old lady.
right. That's what I'm
But
thinking because it has the same characters as shit or crap, or something
yeah,
dirty.
yeah,
So
because ba is like Oba-san is grandmother.
right. So when you say it twice, it's saying grandma, but you're a
I know because
shitty. You're a piece of shit.
yeah, Naruto also calls Tsunade no, he calls her yeah, he calls her he goes Oba-san. Uh
Right. Calling her
he
granny.
calls her grandma, granny.
That shit's
Um
funny.
but I think in English they changed it to auntie or something like that. I don't remember.
I thought he called her Granny Tsunade.
In the manga, the
Yeah, I do
English
watch it. I
manga.
think I watched some
Yeah.
English and some Japanese, but I think once it
No,
was
no, no.
caught
The
up.
anime and the manga do different.
Oh, do they? I thought in the anime because
Yeah.
I've never read it. Well, I read it when it was finishing because it
That's what I'm
was
saying. The
a lot of
anime
stuff.
and the manga do different translations.
No, but anime Japanese or English both.
Both.
Because
Oh no,
I've watched
the
both, and I
English.
think one of them he called her Granny Tsunade.
Yes, the English. That's what I'm talking about. And in the English translation of the manga, he calls her auntie. In the
Oh,
English
got you. I was
translation of the
confused. Yeah,
anime, he calls her granny.
got you. Okay, yeah, I was like on a different page.
Yeah. And also like the anime started picking it up later where they started giving the Leaf Village kind of like a hick lingo, like they say pa or ma instead of dad or mom. Um,
right.
but they dropped it.
Which makes
um,
sense because just because they're hidden in the leaves doesn't mean they're from the sticks,
well,
unless that was intended.
they do speak with like a hick. Well, Naruto speaks with a hick accent. Um,
He
but
ain't got no parents. He ain't got no learning.
yeah, so it's weird. The translation in the manga is just all over the place.
That makes
Um,
sense because that was also back in the day. Like
Yeah, then
I
they're trying to keep it. Then they were trying to do the exact translation, and then they just said, "Let's do a localization rather than a direct translation because it would come across better," and it did not.
well, because if you're gonna localize it, you have to set the pretense and everything has to be correct.
They never incorporated Datebayo, and then it became part of the plot, and they're like, "We have to do something." So
Right.
it was just yeah.
No, that's
Fortunate.
tough, especially for something ongoing.
It's the same thing with One Piece. The manga for One Piece in the very beginning has them do a lot of yo ho hos and yarg and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't read this, Ken. So
Yeah, it definitely was more pirate based, like Western style pirate media
yeah,
than what it evolved into or what it kind of was from the beginning anyway.
yeah. So whatever, it's fine.
Right.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Baba.
Right. It's fucking
Oh
funny
Baba.
old lady names.
Yeah.
But after the ship crashes, there's something that I think you were talking about. There's more lore. What's her name? I think is part of that lore. The one who died in the crash, the sister.
Yeah.
I definitely think she just showed up and she was definitely important because she got a few scenes. And yes, she was his sister, but there's more there.
I think I was reading the manga started a little before the movie came out, but then the movie came out, and then he didn't finish the manga for like 10 years
Oh damn.
because he was taking breaks to do the Ghibli movies.
Which makes sense. That's his moneymaker now,
Yeah.
or at that point now.
So I guess he just added more lore.
Right? Because definitely, yeah, she seemed like she was important, and obviously, yeah, she's like whoever his sister and they were
She was
their
like
mom.
the princess of the Pidgeite Kingdom or whatever.
She said that, which I thought was funny, but then Homie and his mom didn't seem like the queen. Cause she seemed like a lady that was she was like had the like the little water pot and everything. She seemed
Well,
like she was just one of the rabble in the place with all the women and children.
maybe.
And why didn't he get any clout? That must have been his dad, right? That was the king who got off the ship. He looked pretty regal. And then he
Yeah.
didn't get any like, you better shut up, you're my son. There was no relationship there that felt natural as a father-son thing, considering he looked like the leader. I can't prove this. He may not be the king. He could have been like a general or somebody. But definitely, I didn't get kingly vibes from him.
Yeah.
but that was supposed to, or princely vibes from him, and he was supposed to be the brother of the princess. So I don't know how it all works, and I was thinking there's probably a lot more lore they didn't have time to go into. The movie was already 2 hours long, so
Right.
we don't have that much. But there's more. I kind of want to go into that maybe at least one day. Maybe I'll read it.
That was Shia LaBeouf, by the way.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Um, let's see.
What? Pagicians? Okay, whatever.
Pegyites.
Pegyites. Doesn't
Are
say
you a
anything
Hedgite
about
or
it. Maybe he
Petite or
wasn't
Peggyite?
Maybe she wasn't a princess. Who was she?
I thought they said she was a princess.
Lestelle. I thought she said two.
We could misremember. That shit like that happens, right? We just make assumptions based on the
We
context.
both thought of that.
Right. Usually you know how to read. It's much more likely that I fucked it up. But if we both did, there's at least something.
Maybe Nausicaa fucked it up. Maybe she thought she was a princess, but she wasn't.
Right?
She said it, and then we both believed her.
Yeah, maybe.
It
I
says
mean-
Princess Lestelle.
Well, there you go. So there we go. We're not wrong. But then it's so weird to see the other relationships for the rest of the movie that don't seem very princely.
Maybe she was betrothed to the prince of.
Oh, good call. That makes the most sense given the context we have.
Unless their country is just as small as like Nausicaa's, and they just don't really. Yeah.
That's possible. No, they had the fucking massive country. Remember all the bugs destroyed the city? Well, not massive, but it was as big
No,
as
that
Agrabah.
That was Temechia.
No, that was their place. Remember they invaded?
I don't know.
It was occupied because he said,
Their father is not called King of Pegite. He's called the Mayor of Pegite.
That's funny. I mean, hey, if you're like this mayor's daughter,
I don't know.
princess of the mayor, does the mayor call his
I
daughter
mean, they
princess?
call the emperor's son or the emperor's daughter princess. Who, by the way, when we get to her,
Speaking of, she had my favorite line in the movie. When she showed the hand.
yeah.
Oh, baby. She said there's a lot more than that for the lucky man who becomes my husband to see. I said, oh, baby. But let's see.
After her country, she was a princess, but after her country was destroyed, she was reduced to a slave with her hands shackled, and she then moved to the slave market by airship Corvette.
Oh, so they had been taken over for like a while.
I guess.
So that's why they seemed like the common rabble, because they were just like slaves by that point.
I guess.
I see. You know who I needed to apologize to is Lord Yupa. That poor bastard. When he showed up, I said, he's a bad guy. I said, that fucker was doing something shady with that stupid little bug, and he wanted to fucking get out of the jail free card. And then she saved him. And then time goes on.
He has a glorious mustache. You always have to. The good guys have great mustaches. Bad guys always have those thin mustaches.
You know what's fucked up? You're right, because I seen like the whatever the bad bitch, her assistant.
Yeah.
I said, why does he look like a fucking scumbag?
The giant mustache is a symbol of masculinity, and it's all its glory.
Dude.
While the tiny thin mustache is a man who could barely grow a beard.
It's so fucked up though, because I actually have it in the notes. I said, why does he look like the stereotype scumbag? I said, is it the chin shape or the mustache, or both? He almost looked like a carbon copy of the dude from the last movie who was a shithead. He was a little bit thinner.
That guy didn't. Wait, did that guy have a mustache? I don't remember.
Yeah, he had the little shitty mustache, but his was pointed though. I think he had like the pointy mustache.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, this fucker, like thin mustache with a strong pronounced chin, is like stereotype sleazebag for this era of filmmaking. That shit was just
big
funny.
mustache. I wanna one day have a mustache like Yupa. That shit covered his whole ass mouth and
Good
chin.
God. Listen, I'm Italian and I'm supposed to. I don't have the good genes.
I don't either.
My shit has been like muddled throughout the years. I don't have the good genes left. And it's funny though, because you don't see it. Like when you see like traditional Italian fuckers from Italy, they got those thick ass like huge honkers, dude. But then you see a lot of the New York Italians, they don't have them as much. And I'm like, man, what is it in the water? Like what changed?
Is it in the water?
Because my people came over here and they don't have
it's
those.
the Native American blood making its way into all the Americans.
Maybe that's it. My family's 1/5 Cherokee.
There you go.
0.00000%. Let me on the ranch.
But remember, the Native Americans can't go bald.
That's cool.
Yeah, they don't have the genes for going bald. So
That's actually cool as fuck. They don't have the genes for facial hair though, so you got to trade off.
yeah,
All their facial hair goes to their head.
yeah.
That's cool. Facial hair sucks anyway. It makes me look dirty.
Or you could be like me and have thin on both.
No, that's awful. Dude, I'm doing good so far. I'm thinning a little bit, but I'm doing okay up top.
But I don't know if it's thickened back up. It was just this is the way I've been eating. I don't know.
Right? Because I was thinking the same thing the last time I cut it. I said, man, this is growing back less thick than it was before. But then someone else saw my hair and was like, oh, it's looking, super healthy. I'm like, well, can't you see my scalp from certain angles? And they're like, no, it's fine. It looks pretty good. And I'm like, So I don't know if I just misremembered it being that thick because it hasn't been cut in fucking 6 years.
Yeah.
So it was when it's long enough, you can't tell. So since it's been shorter, I was wondering if sorry, folks. Back to the shit.
So we call long story or short story long.
It's true though. This is what
they
you guys
pay for.
This is it. This is why you guys are here. Anyway, lying ass bitch. Speaking about your girl, shows up.
You had to forgive. You had to apologize to Yupa.
Oh yeah, because he came back and was the fucking man among men, dude. Oh my god, I couldn't. I said, I'm so sorry I misjudged you.
He's the strongest swordsman in the land of the Valley of the Wind.
Oh yeah, dude. When he hopped on that ship, I said, that's the baddest swordsman in the land. You're done. He started slicing all those dudes up on the ship. Oh, baby. I love it. Fucker turned into Zoro real quick. I said, oh man.
The Mask of Sword.
I just imagine that's going to be Zoro one day.
No. Zoro's got a long ways to go.
One day. Maybe like 40 years from now.
He's an old man.
He's a pretty old,
Anyways,
60 years from now.
Yeah, the fucking plane shows up, right? And they fucking it's the princess from Pejite.
That's when that bitch shows up after that. She said, "We're here to talk." That lying ass.
Her name is Kushana.
Her name is lying ass bitch.
It's hot babe, woman of my dreams.
Yeah, right. She said, "We're here to talk." After they fucking ran in, killed the king, kidnapped all the villagers.
We're not here to fight. We're here to talk. They already killed the king.
Right. I was like, "Are you serious? Do you think someone's gonna believe that?" Like, fucking crazy. And then later on, she gets in front of all the people after she's kidnapped all the fucking villagers and disarmed them and put them in a fucking herd, and says, "Listen, we're here for peace." I said, "Really? Tell me more." Fucking dumb bitch.
She's a lady of peace. It was the mustache guy's fault.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. He was pulling the strings behind the scene.
He was.
Yeah, sure. I have in my notes, I hope that monster comes out of that shell and kills all these dickheads. I was not having it. These fucking shitheads, dude. But shit, let's see. They poisoned the whole earth. Do we see the secret room next?
Oh yeah.
That shit was awesome. I was like, because she said something in a secret room. I said, I bet she's got bugs in there. But nope, she had all this shit.
Scientist.
And it
Not
was
only
cool,
is she
though.
a badass warrior, she's also a scientist.
Dude, I love it. And you know what's so funny? I literally was thinking as I watched this, I said, oh god, don't let the SJW haters get a hold of this. Those fuckers hate all women who are empowered.
Right.
And I was like, uh-oh, dude. But it's funny to see like how different this is approached. Because she's never condescending or gives us a reason not to believe she has these skills.
Right.
Like, I have no reason to not believe she's as gifted as she is. She's nice and, like, wholesome and caring and all these other good...
She's the chosen one!
Even if she's the chosen one, we don't even get that. Like, we got it at the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
But it never felt like that. She never got, get out of jail free cards.
I honestly forgot about the prophecy until the end of the movie. We're like, what does she look like? She's wearing a blue dress I've never seen before.
And she looks like she's on the golden fields. Speaking of,
here it is.
Where the fuck does that blue dress come from?
What's his face gives her a blue dress, right?
No, he had the pink dress, which he was disguised as what's her name?
It gets covered in the fucking Ohm's blood. I remember seeing it whenever she leaned against him, whenever she was like pushing him.
Oh, that's a
when
cool
when the little baby Ohm was trying to go back in the acid water.
So sad, so fucking sad scene, dude.
Yeah, it gets covered, it gets stained in his blue Blue Blood.
Dang, dude, that's cool. Cool movie, dude. Did you see them fuckers run her over though?
She was wearing blue in the beginning of the movie, though.
She was, but they ran over the baby and her.
Yeah, dude, I laughed so loud. Keely got so mad. I was like, I'm sorry.
I said, bro, you ran over the baby and her.
I said, let that scene happen. I said, ah, here we go. They're gonna get stopped by the power of peace and love, and all of a sudden she gets sent flying, and I just fucking
Right?
laughed
Dude, I
out
love
loud.
it. I love it, bro. 'Cause
Bit
I was
all
thinking the
over
same
Keely.
shit. I was like, here we go. They're just gonna stop and have this stupid dramatic moment, and it's just kind of cheesy. Nope, ran that bitch right over.
Ran her and the baby over.
Yep, didn't give a fuck. I like it though, because it shows that they're actually enraged, and it took
Right.
them it took one of them in the middle of the herd to say, "Oh, my baby," or whoever, right? Like,
Of course, it's my baby.
Augustus, my baby. Right. It took one of them to stop for Augustus, his name now. And just, then they started to calm down, but the damage has already been done. They're going to kill that bitch.
Right.
And then they had their little space magic, which is, you have to have it.
Space magic. It wasn't space magic.
Oh,
it was
sorry.
bug magic.
Terrestrial magic.
It's bug magic.
You've seen Super Troopers, right?
Yeah.
He says something, he said, your black magic don't work on me. He said, it's brown magic. That shit was funny as fuck. Anyway, but
See, they had to have the weapon, the almighty destruction weapon. It's a what's the word? It's an allegory for men, because the almighty destruction weapon is in the shape of a man, and then the
it was
healing.
a goo monster.
It wasn't finished yet. They had to put it back in the oven.
Yeah. He would have had a big old chin and dicks hanging out if they would have let him finish. Sure.
Exactly.
God, this is how this movie would be viewed nowadays, isn't it? Though. Like, this is how awful. Like, and I just talked shit about the SJW haters, but now I gotta talk shit about them because you both deserve shit talk. This is how SJWs ruin film. It's because you would put all that in there of like, oh yeah, it's just because men are pigs, and look at all the men in this movie. All the men are incompetent.
Well, when I say man, I meant humans, but
Oh, I thought you were going that direction. They're both
no.
right now.
I was talking about humans because that's what man means. All right, it's just a shortened version of human.
I mean, sure, we don't use it like that though. And it's
We did
2024.
back in the day.
It's
That's what we did in Lord of the
2024,
Rings.
dude. You can't use that word anymore without being derogatory.
That's how they do it in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but we don't. There's only women in
The
there.
race of men, the race of elves, and race of dwarves. They don't
Yeah.
call them human.
Was there women in the Fellowship? I don't think so. Sexist,
Yeah, there was.
misogynist movie.
There was a woman.
Nope.
Legolas identifies as a woman.
You better stop. That is my handsome boy. No homo. I don't know why, but that fucker is so much more handsome as a pretty elf than he ever was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
What? No.
I don't know why, but I thought he looked kind of ugly, and not ugly, but like.
Nah,
in
dude, that's a
certain
gorgeous
shots-
man. You shut their whole
Dude,
mouth.
I don't know. In certain shots in Pirates of the Caribbean, I said, dude, he's kind of homely. But
Nah,
yeah, no.
he looks hot. What was it? It was like rough fucking blacksmith.
It didn't work for
Oh.
me. I said, he's kind of dirty. Like, he had the little smile, though. He had the charming smile.
He's kind of dirty.
But, dude, and you know what? I'm also a sucker for long hair, though. So,
That's probably true.
that does give him at least, like, 10
I don't know.
bonus
I didn't
points.
think Viggo Mortensen looked good. He had long hair. That's the fucking Aragorn.
Yeah, he didn't pull it off good because he's too manly, though. I think
Oh.
long hair has to be pretty or cute in some way.
Damn, I got.
That's not true because Geralt, oh, baby, Henry Cavill,
Yeah, that's a man.
because that fucker's a man's man with the hair. I don't know. I'm not sure why.
Have you seen the scene in fucking Was it fuck? Damn it, James Bond, where he fucking is it James Bond or Mission Impossible, where he fucking punches, does like a 1-2 punch, and he grows a mustache.
Yes. That was the stupidest shit I ever seen in my life. I never saw the movie, but someone showed me that clip. I said, "What the fuck am I watching?" I said, "It's manly."
Oh my God. Anyways, back to the
Back to the
Nausicaa.
shits. What was it?
We kinda
Before we
skipping
go,
around.
no, I do want to figure this out. I think I did figure it out. It's his lack of charisma or identifiable facial features that makes
Hmm.
the long hair not work for Aragorn.
Yeah.
Because he's not charismatic at all. Every time he's on screen, it's just like, I'm here. I'm dramatic and kind of sad. But he never has this like bravado or gusto or even like a edginess with his somber, whatever, like, sulking. If you're going to
Yeah.
sulk, be edgy about it. I don't think he had any of those qualities,
He
those
just looks sad all the
intangibles.
time,
Huh?
but not like in a hot way.
Yeah, he sulked like a baby boy.
Right.
Like he almost seemed like the annoying I'm sad kind of sad, which is not fair because he genuinely was a sad boy.
Right.
I hate that we do that because we do it in real life too. Of like we treat certain people if they don't act a certain
In the
way with their
book.
emotions, as if
I'll
those
say it does
emotions
work in
are,
the book though.
huh?
It does work in the book though.
Right.
But that's good. It's in my imagination, so it's whatever I want it to.
Yeah, because you can make him look as brooding or as cute or as handsome
Right,
or
right.
whatever. Uh, and that's no shame to the actor. I think he did a great job. But I wonder what his direction was or how they told him to look or you know what I mean? Like,
Right. Right.
what was the whole thing? But anyway, I think that's why it works because Legolas is always fucking. He has that cute smile and charming. Gimli has that fucking gruffness
Gimli's
every time
my
he's
fucking
angry.
boy though. But Gimli's fucking hilarious.
Right, so because Gimli's always like gruff but kind of funny. So he's like super personable and like attractive for that reason. Henry Cavill is The Witcher is brooding as fuck. So it makes him super handsome. And like Kurama, super cute and charming, but kind of mysterious, even though he's like doesn't talk very much or smile.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning anyway. So I think there's reasons why long-haired men in general they have to have something that sets them apart. Sort of the personality has to go with the hair. Do you think it's one before the other, or like
I don't
does the
know.
personality come with the hair, or does the hair demand personality to be attractive?
The hair demands personality.
I think so, right? I do think so because I've seen like long-haired dudes without personality, and somehow they look more like a bum. Also, most of them were stoners and they were kind of bums, though. That's not fair.
It's a whole other video entirely.
Right. So, okay, so we'll go back to the thing. But I think we did figure out
Long-haired
the.
characters in fiction.
That's a good thing. Shit, I'm down for that. We do a little side story if we have like a down week.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but you're right. Though. Back to the shits. New challenger entered the ring. The poison in the earth was a little bit much for me. I think I should be objective. As much as I fucking love this movie, she was like, "Yeah, I found some dirt and sand and got these plants and grew them." I'm like, the fuck compelled you to do that? It was a little far fetched that she
said
got.
that she was doing it to find a cure, right?
How
So
would
I
you
imagine
think that poisonous, deathly plants are gonna find cures though?
Well, that's what we do in real life.
That is true. Isn't that how medicine started? Hey, eat this and
Yeah.
hope you don't die.
Yeah, it takes like certain agents in a medicine and then watering it down, and it has like medicinal properties. Like most poisonous plants is where we get our medicine from.
Oh, I see. Well, see, there you go. I'm not a botanist. So that teaches me something. But you're right though. I knew this beforehand, but I didn't think about it while watching the movie because I live in a
Yeah.
modern age. But
Yeah.
that's how we figured shit out. We just fucking took plants from the forest and ate them and did shit with them.
Yeah.
I guess it seemed more far fetched to me because she goes in there and she knows that all of these plants will kill you on like either contact or breathing it in.
Yeah.
So it just seems surprising that she would replant them. Or I don't know how she got their seeds. Maybe if she had some seeds somewhere.
She went to the forest and got their seeds, I guess. I think
Right. I
that's
don't think they went into detail, but if I can assume some amount of she did that, it makes a lot more sense.
it is a little confusing because if she said that it's the soil that causes those plants to be poisonous, then wouldn't the seeds have still gotten that? I don't
Right,
know.
because they fell. Well, no, because they fell off into the soil, but they're not. There's no seeds.
But
Or
they
what do
come from the plant that grew from the soil.
right, that makes sense. I was gonna say there's no not leech. What's it called? There's no roots.
I don't know. I'm not a botanist. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe it works. Maybe maybe some of the ones she got were like she got lucky and got some good ones. I don't fucking know. Right.
But yeah, but it was like, oh yeah, the soil over there is, I guess it's just continual soil being growing in that soil just causes them to be poisonous. But if you take it and put it in good soil, it's not poisonous anymore. But why didn't she tell the people that so they could
Because
start?
she says in the beginning it's kind of taboo, and I don't know if anybody will like me if I show them.
Oh yeah.
Which makes
But anyway,
sense.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'm
whatever.
cool with her wanting to hide it.
Yeah.
Because just showing that to somebody doesn't prove anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And all they're gonna do is fucking burn it down. Which honestly, by itself, that would have been a good story anyway. You
But they
know?
can breathe, but they can breathe, they can feel it when they breathe it in. So whenever she just breathed in a little bit at one point, she was already like fucking tearing up, and I don't remember if she was spitting blood or not, but she was tearing up.
Right.
Um,
But do you think people are
when
that smart?
well they take everything she says. They were like ready to fucking fight. She said, "People don't fight." Oh, the princess is the one who wants to fight. So I
That's
don't know.
fair. Maybe she's just not confident.
Yeah,
The king was dead by that point as well, though.
yeah,
So technically, they had to listen to her.
sure.
Uh, Also, too, because they killed her bug when she was a kid.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So I think she has some kind of PTSD or like trauma about like, oh shit.
True. About things that are taboo that yeah.
Right. So I think that makes
They
more
took her
sense.
bug. What assholes.
They killed it. That was an adorable baby. I can't. This movie's so fucking sad. I love it. I hate it, but I do. That's how you know it's a good movie if I tell you I fucking hate it. I was watching this shit and something happened. I said I fucking hate this movie. I can't. Let's see. So yeah, they poison the whole Earth, which is a cool revelation. She flies off after getting kidnapped. I said a new challenger enters the ring. Fucker took out those planes. Not very important. But I was thinking, I said he took down that whole big ass plane, and the redneck on the thing said, "Man, these are some flimsy ass planes." I said, "Thank you." I'm so glad they addressed that. Because those are the kind of little things that you can get away with in filmmaking if you just give us a little something, right?
Yeah.
Like, give me a... Because if that happened in a regular movie, you're going to get so many points taken off of like, oh, that's bullshit. They would never even crack the hull of those, blah, 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 blah. Movie sucks,
Also,
unrealistic.
the movies kind of play with physics anyways. They don't really care. That
True.
fucking tank fucking drove into the gateway to the castle and then drove forward, and the fucking all the bricks start falling.
They made it over?
Yeah.
No, it's
Yo,
true.
by the way, favorite part of the movie when all those three old men get in that fucking tank.
Dude, I love it. He said, make it move, I'm going.
Turn left, I'm going.
He said, you're going to help me load this? I got a bad back. Fucking hilarious. Those are true patriots. Those are Americans right there. If anybody's foreign and you watch this, if we can become popular in other overseas, that's what we think all of our elders are like.
Exactly how our elders are like.
Well, that was like what we were raised on, right? Like modern day America's culture is a little bit weird, ambiguous, kind of shitty.
It's all over the place.
It's all kind of all over the place, kind of shitty, kind of good, different places. It's hard to tell. But back in the day, that was it. That was the kind of shit like our grandparents would do. Of like, we got this shit, you go on ahead. We'll be men and protect the country. Just cool shit, man. Those guys were great. But yeah, the little things like that help go a long way in a movie. Of just one of the characters saying, this fucking flimsy ass jets. It's like, cool. That almost writes off anything that happens after that. But you're right though. I think I was watching at one point when she pulled that shit out of the console. I looked. I said, you know what? I don't care. I was like, I think I would care in like a regular like live action film.
Yeah.
I was like, but I don't give a shit because she needs to have that handle for the plot to move forward. And then fuck it, here we go, just take
have
it.
that handle. She could have had something. She could have just pulled out a stick. I would have been like, yeah, she had that the whole time.
I mean, sure. And they could have put some screws on it so it's loose.
Right.
Yeah, they could have done something. But I think at the end of the day, those are the kind of dumb things that like reviewers and shit get caught up on. And it's so inconsequential to a film. But they'll spend multiple minutes bitching about it. It just ruins my immersion. It's just fucking awful. And blah, blah, blah. And I get it. If they feel that way truly, sure. I'm not mad, right? If you are just so set in your ways that any tiny little thing that breaks any sort of continuity is enough to ruin the movie for you and make you sour the whole experience, I'm sorry. Honestly, that's all I can say. I'm fucking sorry that you have to feel like that because that sounds awful and all movies are going to suck for you. But at the end of the day, if that's how someone is, but I just don't believe them, I think is what I'm trying to say. I don't believe you, any of you assholes out there who nitpick the tiny things like that and then say the movie's trash because of it. I don't believe it really mattered that much to you. I just think most of them need to either make views on YouTube, which means you have to hate something to get good views, or they're angry and hipsters, and they have to, take the movie down a few pegs by pointing out tiny things. But whether it's one of the three, whatever. It is what it is. But it's unfortunate, I think, sometimes. But let's see. Then they saved that bitch from the burning thing. Dog.
Ushana is her name.
Her name is Bitch. They saved her from the fucking plane. I was like, dude, she's gonna hijack the plane. She said, come on, get in. I said, oh, God. Just don't. And then they fucking land, pulls a gun on him. The fuck you thought we were friends? You're still my prisoner, bitch. I said, I fucking told you should have let her die in the fucking plane. Oh, my God. And then, don't do it. You're gonna bring the bugs to kill all of us. Fires the gun anyway. Oh, here we go. Fucking stupid.
She's lying to her.
Fucking stupid, dude. I was like, dude, please die. I said, I hope that fucking Ohm comes and rips your head off, dude. Just get rid of her. But then later on, she's still kind of hot, though. I said, hey, I'm glad you're here. Let's see. They had the cool moment underground. I didn't have much to really, what do you call it? Let's see. Not much to say. She's like laying on the ground. I said, oh, she's dead because that sand came down.
Yeah.
And I said, that's the sand from above. It's got toxin in it. And then she walks over there and is laying on the ground. I said, oh, that bitch is dead. Turns out she was just crying, I guess. Weird assumption she made. These are all fossilized and turned to sand and purifies it. I don't know how the fuck she made that assumption, but hey.
Because they could breathe in there.
I mean, yeah, you knew it was pure because, like, the underground was pure. But I guess it was a big leap for me to, like, oh, they're purifying it and turning into dust after fossilizing. But I also think that I'm not a fucking botanist, and she's been studying this shit for a long time. At least, like, 6 years. We'll say she started when she was, like, 12.
Except when you hear shit from, like, the fucking National Treasure and they just start saying shit. You're just like, yeah, you guys know more than I do. Go ahead.
Right? Let's see. And then she gets I swear to God, she was gonna get eaten by that fucking Ohm. I was like, get out of there! It was beforehand, I skipped a part. When that fucker just put all the tentacles on her?
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? It's gonna eat you!
I said I've seen this hentai before.
Dude, I was not gonna fucking I would not be cool with that. I don't care if she's friendly with animals, whatever. That's motherfucker's literally tangling you up. You're food. Like, you're so tiny, you have to assume you are food.
Right.
And she was just cool with it. She said, fuck it, here we go.
She knows their ways. She's connected to them.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe she does them. Maybe she saw they only eat plants or something. I don't know. She could have studied them over the years, right?
She does study them. In the beginning of the movie, we saw that she, like, gets different molts and stuff. She, like, scouts out their molts because they use it for, like, tools and stuff.
Right, right. No, it's true. So I think there's enough credit for that. You know what's funny, though, that I noticed in this movie? We talked about with modern movies. I thought it was a modern trope that's... Maybe I'm just noticing it more. But the cute animal companion.
Yeah.
I said, even back then, huh? Cute animal companion. Since the 80s.
You don't like Tato?
He's fine. But I just
He's
thought it was
adorable.
He really is, though. When that fucker, like, in the very beginning, he started licking her little hand, I said, oh!
He bit her first.
I don't care. Instantly, he made that cute little face and started licking her finger. I said, it's over.
He bit her hard as fuck, and then he was like, huh, she's not threatened. Maybe you're a friend. And then starts licking. I'm sorry.
Right? He said, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bite you. I said, it's over. I want to take him home. That shit is too good. But what do you call it? Yeah, it's a cute animal companion, but it didn't take center stage. He was there, and he added a marginal amount of entertainment or like cuteness. Right. But I think the problem, or why I'm noticing it more in modern day shit, is because they take over. Like the cute animal companions have to have their own scenes, their own jokes, their own things. Like, it's not the same unless they're part of the movie, like Donkey. He was a cute animal companion for Shrek.
Not cute.
It's what? You can't say that. Look at those adorable little teeth.
No.
And his little tail?
No. He was the main character.
If you ask him, he probably thought so. That'd be funny to see, because, you know, the series is like...
Yeah, you're right. The animal companion is takes on more and more fucking screen time and screen time away from the plot.
Right.
And it does get annoying.
Right, and I think that's the problem. You can have it, but it can't overshadow scenes or it can't be too much because then I'm losing like story. I'm losing continuity. I'm losing bits that are important for, the main characters, for the setting, for the development of the world, to watch a little cute animal make a joke. It's just it's not, it's not as good. If you're going to do it, it has to be done subtly. Let's see. Bad bitch comes back. She takes all that armor off, had the titties out. No, she didn't have the titties. I'm playing.
I wish.
Shit, right?
Uh,
Her character, by the way, let's touch on that since we're here. I don't get it. Because
Hmm?
she was hateful, evil bitch. She got saved twice.
Yeah, she was kind of all over the place. Like whenever she was still all about killing what's her face's people until like she was like, "Oh, wait for her to come back," and then
Right,
she's like, "All right, let's kill him." They ran out of time, but then as soon as she shows back up, oh, we gotta help her. What?
right. It was just, yeah, back and forth, back and forth. I'm like, so are you changed? Are you not changed? But I almost like it in a way.
I think it's something that happened with Miyazaki while he was making the movie because he was still writing the manga.
Hmm.
In the manga, apparently she's not a bad force. She's kind of more of like at the start seems like a bad force, and oh no, she's actually good, and there's actually this other country that's the aggressor, and blah
Oh,
blah blah. So yeah,
right, right.
it might have just been some some shit in the back of his mind that never came to fruition in the movie, so he decided to put it in the manga instead. And but that stuff was too late to change or something. I don't know.
Right.
Uh,
Well, I was thinking about her character, right, and why I didn't like it, because I definitely did not that I didn't like it. It wasn't awful, but I didn't notice it. I said she seems a little all over the place at the back end of the movie, but I wonder, she never showed hesitation with everything she said, and I wonder if I need that, because if she was all over the place or whatever, kept changing her mind, if I saw some sort of struggle, I'd say, look, she's trying to be a good person, but she's a ruthless bitch. It makes sense, like she's back and forth. But I guess it was because of how like resolute she was. She was like, "Yeah, I want to see her again. I'd like to get to know her." And then she said that with such confidence as if she truly was a different person.
yeah,
So to go back later and then completely be like, "Fuck it, out of time, go kill him. I want the bloody path." I was like, "What? You want the bloody path? What do you mean?" It's weird, right? But if she was more like, he's, "Hey, we're gonna go kill him," she's like, I don't know. Give me a minute." But she didn't really say anything. It's like, oh, she wants to see if the princess comes back. And then later on, it's like maybe one of the men is like, "What are we doing?" And she's, let's kill them all. Fuck it, let's go. And then she makes the decision. And then if she goes back on it a third time, it makes sense. She only made that decision out of like
right.
desperation or whatever. And she never even said out loud she wants to see the princess and she's totally changed. And that kind of shows more of a realistic progression to those decisions. Versus when the decision making seems so cut and dry, it can seem a little wishy washy, I guess. It doesn't seem like natural human emotion.
I agree.
Let's see. Dude, did you hear the flute solo when she escaped the plane on the glider? Where you said you didn't hear the music
Yeah.
that much. Um, those flutes were going fucking hard. I said, "Oh baby." Um, we need to touch on this. The atmosphere is saturated with anger.
The old lady.
Yeah. I don't think that's gonna work in any other thing ever than anime. And it probably has to be an old lady who says it.
Gotta be some wise.
Yes,
ancient
wise old,
lady.
because I just can't. I thought about that line. I said that line is almost laugh worthy if it wasn't in this context in this movie.
Right. Gotta be about uh the forces of nature or like fucking uh stuff like that.
So stupid. The wind has
Saturated with
stopped.
anger.
The atmosphere, it's saturated with anger. Dude, it's just bugs. They're coming to get you.
They're
But
coming to get the Tomekians. They're safe.
what about them?
The bugs. They're coming to get the Tomekians.
Oh, I thought you said what about the Temekians? I was like, what about them? They suck.
No. The bugs are gonna get the Tomekians. They're the the people from Nausicaa's village are safe.
Yeah, right. They were gonna indiscriminately kill the fuck out of all of them.
Probably. They ran the fuck out of their own baby.
Right? They didn't give a shit. Um, let's see. I will say when that warrior showed up, I said, "Holy fuck, this dude's no joke." Um, That shit was scary almost. I said, holy shit, what waves
word?
of them. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Big Red? Fucker's just taking out lines of them, one shot. Boom! I said, holy shit, that's a fearsome ass fucking thing. And it's not even done cooking.
I remember that we saw like in the opening a bunch of them lined up together.
Right, fully grown.
Yeah.
I said, holy shit.
Fully cooked in the oven, as it were.
Yes.
Uh,
Not melting away.
Dude, but I think that's pretty much wrapping up most of it.
Yeah.
That movie's fucking awesome though. You know what's funny though? At the very end, I want to go like plant a tree or something. I genuinely did. I finished.
That's what Miyazaki wants, Trey. Don't give in.
Dude, it's so fucked up though. I finished it. I said, dude, I want to go plant a tree or something, dude. I don't know. Something
After I
touched
finished
me.
it, I went and cut some trees down.
Bro, no. Miyazaki touched me.
That's what I was
Pause.
burning. That's what I was burning earlier today.
Oh, just like the brush and shit.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, no, it just did a fucking phenomenal job, man. Like, holy cow. I don't even think there was anything wrong with this movie. I almost want to give it a 10. I don't think it was a 10. More like a 9.5. But fuck, man.
I want to give it an 8.5. That's really high for me. So
Right. What do you
maybe
think?
even 8.8.
What was it
I
missing?
liked it. Like there's for me it's the dialogue, the early dialogue, but I'm not sure if it's it's definitely in the Japanese as well. It's just all the expository dialogue that she shouldn't say, but it's for us to learn about the world. But
Oh,
like when she's just walking around and looking at the bugs, the ohms, the fucking shit when she's by herself, it's really
Right.
weird that she's talking about that stuff like she's teaching someone about it.
right.
That's just shit that bothers me. So
Right. Well, the only one I noticed, because you did mention that, that's funny on retrospect. I guess you're right. The one I noticed was when the king said something or whatever. The
Yeah.
fucking swordsman. He's on his quest. You're on a quest for what? You don't know? No, we don't know. She knows. That was the funny one. That one actually caught me. The others I thought were fine because she probably spends a lot of time alone.
yeah,
She probably developed a technique of talking to herself while she's alone. But I could see what you mean though. They have to put it in there somewhere.
right.
So it's like where are you gonna put it?
I would rather it not be there at all and just be people fucking speculating on that shit and think about the just like delving deep in the world. But
Yeah, I mean, because the kind of things that she was talking about, we don't have to know, right?
movie. I was watching something recently, and I'm like, they just throw you in, and they don't care. They do not care if you know or not know about the lore of the world. I can't remember what it was.
Right.
Uh,
No, it's funny you talk about that, yeah, because like if I didn't know that the steel she had was weaker than the shell of that monster, I don't need to know that. Like not yet, anyway.
right.
Until like the only time it became relevant was when homie was like, yeah, such and such blade way stronger than that armor of yours, and I was like, oh shit, it becomes relevant there, and then obviously they want it for building tools, so
Right.
it could have been easy to bring it back and then be like, oh, you found a husk, we need that for the strongest tools ever made, and he slaps a guy on the back or something.
Right.
So then there's sort of a like natural progression of like the exposition.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Or little Timmy asks, Why do we need to go in the forest to get bugs?"
Right? I thought the
Bug
bugs are
mulch.
bad.
Right.
Now that makes sense. But overall, I'm giving that shit a 9.5 because for me, it did almost nothing wrong. I'd
That was a
watch
good
that
movie.
shit over and over again.
Shit, I watched it twice. So
Shit. Dude, that was a good solid wrap up too. And anything else? Any short story longers?
No. That's it. That's all
I
from
think-
me.
Dude, that was good, man. Good solid fucking first in like 2 months, dude. We've been on a fucking hiatus. So I moved for all the fans out there. I had to move
Yeah.
back to the East Coast. So we're back in action though. So but you know what they
I said
say,
East side.
huh?
I said East Side.
East Side. Fucking as is tradition, like and subscribe because engagement is good.
Oh, I fumbled it. What?
I'll fumble. Okay. We'll take it from the top. Don't worry, they'll never know. Like and
I wrote
subscribe
it
because
out.
engagement is good.
Leave an angry comment or dislike. Engagement is good.
Yeah, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye bye.